Hello everyone, welcome to the Bedtime Story channel. In this video, I will be sharing a series of gripping horror stories that unfolded in a mysterious villa. Thank you for joining. Let's dive into the chilling tales together. Cursed Love, a Chalet's Chronicle. My name's Joe, the caretaker up there, and these tales ain't easy for me to share. So, listen up, cause it's about to get real eerie. It was a dark winter night when I first set foot in that chalet. Snowfall was heavy, and the phantom peaks stood tall, silent guardians in the midst of the Swiss Alps. The chalet, a quaint thing, had tales embedded in every creak of its timbers. Midnight struck as the dimly lit parlor witnessed a ghastly apparition materializing from the ancient mirror. I thought it was just a trick of the light, but the silhouette in that mirror seemed too real, too sinister to be my imagination. A shiver ran down my spine. In my daily routine of dusting and sweeping, I stumbled upon a hidden compartment in the attic. There, gathering dust, were stacks of forgotten letters. They told a tale of a love affair gone sour, cursed by some long-lost lover. The more I read, the darker the story became. The letters spoke of forbidden love between two souls from rival mountain villages. Their trysts were secret, but the townsfolk found out. Whispers of curses and hexes followed, and in a fit of desperation, they vowed eternal love, sealed with a forbidden kiss. With every page turned, I could feel the weight of the curse in the air. It was like the very mountains held their breath. The cursed lover, it seemed, had awakened from the shadows, seeking resolution for the love that was torn apart. A chill ran through me as I closed those letters. Days turned into nights, and one evening, as I passed the ancient mirror, I saw her, the ghostly figure from the letters. Her eyes held an eternity of sorrow, and a mournful wail echoed through the chalet. I knew then the vengeful spirit had arrived. The grand staircase, in all its former groaning glory, now stood silent as the vengeful spirit ascended. Each step seemed to resonate with the echoes of a tragedy long buried, and the chalet itself seemed to be holding its breath, awaiting the resolution the cursed lover sought. The nights grew colder, and the snowfall intensified. I'd wake up to find frost patterns on the inside of the windows, like the very air in the chalet was crystallizing with the sorrow of the lovers who once inhabited this place. My steps in the villa echoed louder now, not just because of the mountain silence, but because an ominous presence seemed to be listening. The spirit wandered the halls, leaving behind a trail of echoes that seemed to merge with the very foundation of the Phantom Peak chalet. The old piano in the corner of the parlor played a silent symphony at odd hours. Each note seemed to carry the weight of a lament, a melody that had no audience except the very walls of the chalet. One evening, as I strolled through the corridor, shadows danced upon the walls, shadows that seemed to be entwined in an eternal waltz. The chalet had become a stage for the spirit's performance, a dance that echoed through the frozen halls. I started hearing whispers on the wind, tales of the cursed lovers retold by an unseen narrator. It wasn't the wind, though, it was the very breath of the Phantom Peaks, sharing the story of heartache and revenge to anyone who would listen. The villa felt colder now, and not just from the mountain chill. It was as if the spirits were weaving an icy tapestry around me. The air itself held memories, and I found myself wrapped in the spectral arms of a love affair turned nightmare. I'd catch glimpses of her, the vengeful spirit, in the mirrors and windows. Her eyes, filled with sorrow, seemed to follow my every move. The chalet had become her stage, and I, an unwitting spectator to a tragedy that transcended time. One night, the piano played again, but this time, it wasn't a silent lament. It was a haunting melody that filled the air. It echoed through the Phantom Peaks, reaching the very summit, as if the spirits were trying to convey a message through the ethereal notes. The snowfall continued, a relentless cascade that buried the chalet in a blanket of memories. I'd wake up to find snowflakes arranged like letters, telling tales of a love that was frozen in time, eternally etched into the landscape. And then, one fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the Phantom Peaks, the grand staircase shuddered and ceased its groaning. The ghostly footsteps echoed into oblivion, leaving behind a silence so profound, it felt like the very mountains were holding their breath. The bitter wind outside carried with it a distant farewell whistle. It was the sound of the spirits departing, their stories told, their resolution found. The Phantom Peaks chalet, once a stage for tragedy, stood silent, a memorial to love lost and spirits set free. So that's the tale, my friends. The Phantom Peaks Chalet, a place where the past and present danced in an eerie harmony. A caretaker's account of a love affair cursed by the very mountains it unfolded upon. Now, as I close the doors of the old villa, I can't help but wonder if the spirits found peace or if the echoes of their sorrow linger in the alpine air. I reckon only time will tell. Thank you. The Parallel Realms of Bali's Mystical Villa. Hey there, it's Arya, your friendly globe-trotting adventurer and shutterbug enthusiast. I recently got invited to Bali, Indonesia, to stay at the breathtaking Villa Surya Abadi. A friend of mine, let's call her Maya, organized this lavish getaway for our group of 5. Now, I've been to some incredible places in my time, but this villa perched on a cliff with views of the beach took my breath away. As we stepped into Villa Surya Abadi, the warm tropical breeze greeted us. The Balinese architecture intertwined with modern luxury created an otherworldly atmosphere. I couldn't help but think this would be a perfect canvas for my photography. Our first night was filled with laughter, music, and the clinking of glasses. However, as the clock struck midnight, an eerie feeling settled over us. Time seemed to freeze, the sounds muffled, and we found ourselves in a peculiar stillness. We exchanged confused glances, attributing it to jet lag and the excitement of the journey. The next few nights were surreal. At midnight, everything repeated. Conversations, laughter, even the flicker of the candle flame. It was as if time had wrapped itself around us, trapping us in a relentless loop. The more we tried to break free, the tighter its grip became. One evening, as the clock struck midnight, I felt an odd connection with the surroundings. Whispers echoed in the villa, and to my surprise, I could understand them. Spirits, trapped in the same loop, yearning for release. It was then that I discovered my unique ability to communicate with the supernatural. Just when we thought things couldn't get stranger, a chilling realization struck us. The villa itself was a doorway to a parallel reality. Our experiences were nothing but illusions crafted by this alternate dimension. Panic set in as we grappled with the truth. Escaping this parallel world was our only ticket back to reality. Now, in this twisted dimension, discerning between the real and the illusory became our greatest challenge. Shadows danced in the corners, and familiar faces seemed distorted. Conversations blurred, making it difficult to trust our own senses. Paranoia seeped into our every step. My ability to communicate with spirits became our lifeline. They provided cryptic clues, guiding us through the labyrinth of this surreal world. It wasn't just about escaping the villa. It was about understanding the balance between the realms and convincing the spirits to help us. As I delved deeper into my conversations with the spirits, I uncovered the villa's dark history. It was built upon ancient burial grounds, and the souls of the departed sought revenge for the disturbance caused by the construction. Our struggle was not only against time, but against vengeful spirits. Days turned into nights, and our pursuit of answers intensified. The clock ticking away became a haunting reminder of our impending doom if we couldn't crack the code to escape this parallel nightmare. The pressure mounted, and friendships were tested as sanity teetered on the edge. In a desperate attempt to break the curse, we performed a ritual guided by the spirits. Candles flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls as we chanted incantations. The air grew heavy with anticipation, and for a moment, it seemed like time itself held its breath. As the last echoes of the ritual faded, a subtle shift occurred. The atmosphere trembled with uncertainty. Shadows receded, and the illusion began to waver. We caught a fleeting glimpse of the real world, a glimmer of hope that fueled our determination. In our quest to escape, we faced manifestations of our deepest fears and regrets. The villa seemed to feed off our vulnerabilities, testing our resolve. Tensions ran high as we confronted not only the supernatural forces but also the demons within ourselves. The spirits, sensing our desperation, offered a bargain, a sacrifice to appease the ancient souls and break the shackles of the parallel reality. It was a moral dilemma, and we hesitated. The clock, indifferent to our internal strife, continued its relentless march. With a heavy heart, we made the sacrifice, a pact with the spirits to restore the balance. As we fulfilled our end of the bargain, the villa trembled, and the illusion shattered. Reality embraced us once more, but the memories of our ethereal allies lingered, leaving an indelible mark on our souls. As the clock struck midnight one last time, we found ourselves back in the real world. The weight lifted, and a surge of relief washed over us. The villa, once a prison, now stood as a symbol of our triumph. We celebrated our liberation with a newfound appreciation for the passage of time. The horror we endured left us scarred, but it also imparted invaluable lessons. We learned to appreciate the fragility of time, the importance of trust in the face of adversity, and the resilience of the human spirit. Each one of us emerged from the ordeal transformed. As we left Villa Suryabadi, the echoes of our ordeal lingered. The picturesque beauty of Bali masked the underlying mystique that forever linked us to the parallel reality we escaped. The memories, though haunting, became a part of our shared history, forever etched in the sands of time. My unique connection with the supernatural faded with our departure, but the gratitude for their assistance remained. As we bid farewell to Bali, a sense of closure settled over us. The spirits, too, found peace, their whispers dissipating in the tropical breeze. And there you have it, folks. The tale of our harrowing escape from the clutches of time in the enchanting Villa Suryabadi. As I recount this story, I can't help but feel a chill run down my spine. Time, a force both relentless and unforgiving, taught us that every moment is a precious gift, and the echoes of Bali will forever remain etched in our souls. Thank you. The Haunting Secrets of an Ancient Villa. My name's Tom, and I ain't never believed in the supernatural, but what happened up there, well, it's something I can't rightly explain. It all began when I got wind of this old villa up in Iceland. They said it had an artifact, something that could grant unimaginable power. Now, I ain't one to go chasing after tales, but the lure of such a thing, it gnawed at my curiosity. So, off I went, leaving behind my skepticism in the face of the unknown. The flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows as I stepped into lunar retreat. The air was thick with mystery, and the old villa seemed to breathe with a life of its own. The northern lights painted the sky outside, and their ethereal glow seeped through the cracks in the curtains, casting an otherworldly hue across the room. I started my investigation, talking to locals who spoke in hushed tones about an artifact hidden deep within the villa. They said it held power beyond imagination, a power that had been dormant for centuries. The very idea sent shivers down my spine, but I pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. One night, as I explored the villa, I stumbled upon the abandoned nursery. The air was still, and the faint scent of baby powder lingered. The flickering candlelight revealed dusty toys and a forgotten crib. That's when I felt it, a spectral presence, as if the room itself was haunted by the memories of a long-lost child. A soft, otherworldly whisper filled the nursery. It spoke of a mother's lullabies and a child's laughter, but there was an undercurrent of sorrow, as if the very walls held secrets of a tragedy untold. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was trespassing in a realm beyond my understanding. As I delved deeper into the villa, the air seemed to thicken with an unspoken power. The locals were right, the artifact's aura was palpable. It pulsed like a heartbeat, resonating with the very foundation of the old retreat. I knew then that this investigation had veered into uncharted territory. The rocky terrain outside the villa mirrored the lunar landscape. Steam rose from geothermal vents, creating an eerie mist that clung to the ground. The very earth beneath my feet seemed charged with an energy, a force that transcended the natural world. Determined to unlock the artifact's secrets, I stumbled upon an ancient tome that detailed the ritual. The instructions were cryptic, but the locals spoke of a connection between the northern lights and the artifact's power. I decided to perform the ritual during the peak of the celestial display. The night of the ritual arrived, and I stood beneath the dancing northern lights, the old villa looming in the background. The air crackled with anticipation as I began the incantations. It felt as if the very elements were listening, and I questioned the wisdom of tampering with forces beyond my comprehension. As the ritual progressed, the northern lights intensified, creating an ethereal symphony of colors in the night sky. The very heavens seemed to respond to the ancient incantations, and I felt a surge of power coursing through the villa in my own veins. In the midst of the celestial spectacle, the nursery door creaked open. The flickering candlelight revealed a spectral presence, a motherly figure, cradling an invisible child. The room resonated with her whispers, as if she sought solace in the ethereal connection forged by the ritual. The unseen force enveloped me, and I realized the artifact's power wasn't just a source of energy. It was a conduit for spirits trapped in a realm between the living and the afterlife. The villa had become a bridge, and I, unwittingly, had become the gatekeeper. The haunting lullabies echoed through the corridors as the spectral presence revisited the abandoned nursery. I could feel the sorrow in the air, the weight of a mother's grief, and the very essence of the villa seemed to mourn a tragedy lost to time. As I continued the ritual, the whispers grew more urgent. It was as if the spirits themselves were warning me, pleading for release. The air buzzed with a tension that transcended the mystical ambience of lunar Isle retreat. A force tugged at the edges of my consciousness, and I found myself in a spectral confrontation with the motherly figure. Her eyes bore into mine, and the weight of her grief threatened to overwhelm me. The boundary between the living and the afterlife blurred, and I questioned the consequences of my actions. The northern lights reached a crescendo, and with a surge of power, the artifact unleashed its unimaginable force. The villa shook as if awakening from a slumber, and I felt a torrent of energy coursing through me. It was a power that transcended the earthly realm, and I realized I had tampered with forces beyond human understanding. As the ritual reached its zenith, the attic door slammed shut. The haunting secrets that echoed through the desolate corridors were sealed away, the unresolved spirits finding a semblance of peace. The once mystical ambience of lunar Isle retreat faded, leaving behind a desolate silence. With the ritual complete, I stumbled out of the villa, the weight of the experience settling upon me. The northern lights retreated, leaving the night sky in solemn darkness. The old retreat stood silent, as if holding its breath after the storm that had passed through its ancient walls. And there you have it, folks, of the tale of lunar Isle retreat and the artifact that held unimaginable power. As I walked away from that desolate place, I couldn't help but wonder if the spectral presence found the closure it sought, or if the old villa still held remnants of the ethereal connection forged at night. Some mysteries, it seems, are best left untouched. Thank you. The Enchanted Canvas at Mystic Haven Manor. It all started when my cousin, Eliza, found an old painting in Mystic Haven Manor. The manor, perched on the cliffs of Cornwall, had been in our family for generations. The salty sea breeze always carried tales of its mysterious past. Eliza, an art restorer with a knack for finding hidden gems, stumbled upon this particular painting in the dusty attic. Little did we know, the canvas held a sinister secret. The painting depicted a lavish ballroom bathed in moonlight, frozen in time. Intriguingly, each figure in the painting seemed to have a story of its own. There was a sense of life lingering in their eyes, as if the artist had trapped a moment, but also a piece of their souls. As the art restoration team, which included myself, began working on the piece, strange occurrences began to unfold. Whispers echoed through the manor, as if the very walls were murmuring secrets. Lights flickered, and shadows danced in the corners of our vision. The manor seemed to come alive with unseen presences. One stormy night, as the rain drummed on the manor's windows, we gathered in the ballroom to continue our work. Lightning flashed, revealing a ghostly figure standing in the echoing ballroom where a tragedy had unfolded. The atmosphere grew heavier, and we could feel a presence watching us. The painting became an obsession. Day after day, we delved deeper into its mysteries. Eliza, however, was the first to feel the painting's malevolence. She spoke of dreams that felt too real, of dancing in the ballroom with the ghostly figures. The air in Mystic Haven Manor became thick with tension. Each restoration session seemed to unlock another layer of the painting's curse. We could hear distant howls, like mournful cries of hounds carried by the wind. The manor began to feel like a prison, and the painting, our captor. As the days passed, the once cohesive team began to unravel. Whispers turned into hushed arguments, and the once friendly atmosphere soured. The painting seemed to be seeping into our minds, feeding on our fears and insecurities. One night, unable to resist its allure any longer, I found myself alone in the ballroom, staring into the frozen eyes of the figures. The shadows deepened, and the figures began to move. They danced in the moonlit ballroom, and I was drawn into their spectral waltz. In the midst of the dance, the figures transformed into phantom hounds, their mournful howls echoing through the manor. Panic set in as I realized the painting wasn't just a canvas. It was a gateway to a realm where the past and present intertwined, and the spirits of the trapped figures sought release. Desperation led us to consult local folklore, and we discovered that the manor had long been associated with tales of a cursed painting. Legend spoke of a love affair gone wrong, and the souls involved were forever bound to the artwork. The only way to break the curse was to confront the spirits and set them free. We decided to hold a seance in the ballroom, hoping to communicate with the trapped souls. Candles flickered as we sat in a circle, hands joined. The air grew colder, and the atmosphere tenser. Suddenly, the figures in the painting seemed to come to life, their eyes pleading for release. The seance turned into a night of terror as the spirits manifested themselves in the ballroom. The once frozen figures now moved with purpose, expressing their longing for peace. The phantom hounds circled us, their ethereal presence sending shivers down our spines. As we communicated with the spirits, we learned of the tragic love story that bound them to the painting. A betrayal, a broken promise, and a cursed artist had condemned them to an eternity of suffering. The spirits pleaded with us to break the curse and release them from their spectral prison. With newfound determination, we researched ways to break the curse. The solution lay in a ritual that involved a combination of ancient symbols, incantations, and the collective energy of the team. The manor itself seemed to resist our efforts, as if the curse fought to maintain its hold. The night of the ritual arrived, and the atmosphere in the manor was electric. Candles flickered, and the air crackled with energy. As we performed the ritual in the ballroom, the figures in the painting began to convulse, their spectral forms writhing in agony. The phantom hounds, sensing the imminent release, howled in a crescendo of sorrow. The air in the ballroom became charged with both fear and hope. The figures in the painting, now free from the curse, began to fade away, their eyes finally finding peace. With a final, mournful howl, the phantom hounds dissipated into the mist, leaving the villa in an eerie silence. The once haunted ballroom now felt serene, as if the weight of centuries had lifted. The cursed painting, now devoid of the trapped souls, hung innocently on the wall. In the aftermath, Mystic Haven Manor underwent a transformation. The sea breeze no longer carried whispers of tragedy, and the manor stood as a testament to the triumph of the living over the supernatural. The team, forever changed by the ordeal, left the manor behind, its secrets buried with the past. Though we had faced the malevolent force within Mystic Haven Manor, the memories of that cursed painting lingered. The experience left us with a newfound respect for the thin veil between the living and the dead. The ballroom, once a stage for tragedy, now held the echoes of a redemptive dance. As I look back on that harrowing chapter of my life, I can't help but wonder how many other places hide similar secrets. The world is filled with forgotten tales, waiting to be unraveled. Mystic Haven Manor taught me that sometimes, confronting the past is the only way to free the spirits that linger in the shadows. Thank you.